Hi, this is Len. Please check out my top 10 unlikely Lord of the Rings scenarios I just posted. Actually, there's 18 of them. You know the script for the original Star Wars changed at least 3 times, from a story about the Whills to a father and son Jedi team to Luke and Leia being boyfriend-girlfriend. So let's get right to the incest. Here are my top 10 unlikely Star Wars scenarios. Number 1. Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia were lovers. This was a strong possibility before it was revealed that they were siblings. The change seems to have taken place during the filming of Empire Strikes Back, which ends with the suggestion that they are related. The first Star Wars novel, Splinter of the Mind's Eye, takes place before this change was made. So after their first kiss in Empire Strikes Back, imagine Luke and not Han rescues Leia and takes her to Dagobah with him. Instead of her one-night stand with Han on the asteroid, things progress in a more familial way during Luke's training with Yoda with Leia at his side. When Luke leaves to rescue just Han, Leia is already carrying his baby. Yoda keeps what he knows to himself because of his desire to produce a strong Jedi he can raise in secret, similar to the obsession of the witches in Dune with breeding the Kwisatz Haderach. The first person who realizes they're brother and sister is Darth Vader during his final duel with Luke on the Death Star. Vader says, "Your feelings for them are strong, especially for sister, who is also your wife, and is carrying your child." And he just stops and looks at the Emperor. Then he says, "There are certain lines that must not be crossed, Luke. You were unwise to engage in incest." And then he throws his lightsaber at him. As for what a child of Luke and Leia would be like, there are 2 examples in science fiction I think give us some idea. The first is in the original miniseries V, where a human woman gives birth to a mystical child that is half human, half visitor, matures at an alarming rate, and uses her supernatural powers to save the day. The second is from the Dune series of novels. In the Butlerian Jihad, the witches who would become the Bene Gesserit witches are still trying to produce a Kwisatz Haderach, resulting in the head witch being unable to have any children that survive being born, with the exception of a daughter who is unusually short and is a disappointment to her because she has no powers. She is sent off and ends up becoming the inventor of space folding, which deforms her into the first guild navigator. Personally, I would like to have seen in The Last Jedi a 3-on-3 battle with Luke, Rey, and Finn against the Emperor, Kylo, and Benicio del Toro's character, resulting in Luke and the Emperor being sealed in a pod while they are dueling that is launched into the nearest sun. At the end of the film, the pod mysteriously comes back, and Luke is now half good, half bad, as he throws Kylo to his death with one hand and beckons Rey to him with the other, the film ending with the look on Leia's face as she stares at him. Number 2. Chancellor Palpatine and the Emperor are brothers. This would have been a brilliant plot twist in Revenge of the Sith. After the Chancellor is rescued by Anakin and Obi-Wan, this cloaked figure appears and Palpatine is like, "Who are you?" And then he is assassinated and Darth Sidious takes his place. But then actor Ian McDiarmid wouldn't get to use his ability to change his voice. Number 3. Darth Vader is really Luke's mother. Remember, there were 2 people left for dead on Mustafar. The Emperor wanted everyone to think Vader was Anakin Skywalker, so he designed a mask to hide his face and disguise his voice. But when the Emperor goes to pick up Anakin, he's already burned to death. But Padme is lying there unconscious. She was destroyed by Anakin's behavior and him choking her. The Emperor has her brought back and rebuilt, and they never know about the 2 children Obi-Wan has hidden from them. Wait a minute. Number 4. Darth Vader has an invisible sidekick who chokes people. Number 5. Harrison Ford shot the actor who plays Greedo to take the part of Han Solo from him. So you know that in the original script, Han Solo was supposed to be a green, bug-eyed alien, which ended up becoming the character of Greedo. This version of Han was brought back in the comic book The Star Wars. So imagine it's 1976 and Harrison Ford has not yet been cast because the role of Han is being played by this guy who's dressed as a green alien. So Harrison happens to run into the guy in a weird 1970s bar, and he's sitting there in full costume. So Harrison thinks this can't be a coincidence, and sits down at the table with him. "Going somewhere?" the guy who plays Greedo says to him. To which Harrison replies, "Look, I've got the money." "George Lucas is through with you," Greedo says. And what happens next is a matter of conjecture. Did Han shoot first, thinking he could take his place in the same costume and no one would notice? Or did he eliminate the green Solo character altogether, allowing him to play the part as himself? Number 6. Princess Leia and Jabba the Hutt had a relationship. Jabba the Hutt gets a bad rep these days, so instead, let's try to look at him as a person. When he says to Princess Leia, "In time you'll learn to appreciate me," what did he have in mind exactly? Is he looking for a supportive relationship with someone who can see past his flaws to the person he is inside? Or does he just want a physical relationship? We've all been there. You know how it is. Now, I know what you're thinking. He just wants to torture her so he can watch and wave his short little arms in the air. In which case, if a relationship is completely one-sided, does that technically make someone a pervert? Number 7. General Grievous lost his original body due to heavy smoking. One of the first things you notice about General Grievous is he has a pretty obvious smoker's cough. His original body must have had lung cancer, which is a shame because his lungs are one of the only parts he has left. Imagine if you had to have every body part replaced because of COPD, but you're still coughing because all that's left of you is your cardiopulmonary system, where the problem started in the first place. Poor guy. Number 8. The Death Star was once a real moon. I think this one's pretty realistic since the Transformers' home planet of Cybertron was once a natural world. If you're going to build an artificial moon, why not start with a real one to provide a center of gravity and serve as the scaffolding for such a massive construction project? The early Death Star we see being constructed from the outside in is so lightweight it would have collapsed into the orbit of the nearest planet unless it had a stabilizing field to support it or was constructed in a zone of zero gravity. In contrast, a natural moon would have followed the Empire's usual procedure of infiltrating a colony, taking it over with a garrison, finding an excuse to blow up their own base, and then suck the planet dry of its resources until there's nothing left. Number 9. Boba Fett is made of lost Jedi body parts. So you know Boba Fett is a clone who most people would agree has no personality. He wears the same suit of armor as the guy he was cloned from, so we really don't know who's in there. If armor can be recycled, why not body parts themselves? So when his father Jango was dismembered by Mace, what if they just rebuilt him? Anakin's missing left arm would have been lying relatively close by, and Boba Fett was present when Luke was deprived of his right hand. You know what? You can't be right all the time. Last but not least, number 10. The pit of Sarlacc isn't its mouth, but its anus. It's long been supposed that the Sarlacc is a giant burrowing worm, something like the sloppy gut anemone. But what if the pit isn't its mouth, but its butt, something like Old Faithful? It's not 1,000 years of digestion that awaits its victims, as much as a rocket-propelled case of the shats. So what do you think of these, and what is your favorite Star Wars alternative scenario? Post what you think in the comments below. Thanks for listening.